Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. So today we're gonna be talking about Avatar Legends, the fighting game. There was a recent exhibition at the Level Up Expo with friends of the channel, Justin Wong and Diaphone, and they got to showcase Sokka and a lot of the interesting things Sokka can do in the game. Sokka was not one of the beta characters, and since recent times we've had all the characters announced that are going to be at launch. And frankly, we just don't know a lot about the cast. We only got little snippets, so having this showcase on Sokka really helps. And also, speaking of other characters we haven't seen a lot, y'all aren't ready for some certain characters, let's put it that way. But Sokka is really cool, has unique fighting style, has unique supports or variations, if you want to call it that way, that change up his gameplay, and we will talk a bit about that. But the one thing that I noticed kind of broke the internet about this whole exhibition is an install. So installs are, they're buffs, right? Like the most famous install would be the Dragon install from Guilty Gear that Soul Bad Guy has. It's nowhere near the first install in fighting games to be sure, but it's probably the most famous. And Sokka, humble Sokka of all people, is aiming for the throne on his first try. And how is that exactly? Because Sokka has the girlfriend install. So Suki will just come out as part of the super move, grab Sokka by the shirt and just plant a big old pecker on him. And that just gives Sokka a big old buff, which seemingly makes him a lot faster and a lot more difficult to deal with. And he's surrounded by hearts. Like, it's just fun. It's great flavor. Like, this is the kind of stuff fighting games can do that just really make a game. And this went viral all over social media. People were really digging this, it turns out. As a fan of marketing myself, this is the kind of marketing you can't buy, where you kind of just land on something and you couldn't anticipate that people would just be that into it. It's all over Twitter. People were having a lot of fun with it. This is the kind of thing that builds brand awareness, folks. And, mechanically, get buff, do things, is cool, but the flavor is what makes things matter, right? That's why I'm a big fan of fighting game story and lore, because the flavor is just as important as the gameplay and the mechanics. Like, this went so viral, it was like part of the official Twitter news algorithm. So it turns out, yeah, the exhibition definitely got some eyes on the game, even if it was just for the one move, sure, but like, hey, Sokka's really cool, the move's really cool, and people dig it. So I just thought that was a really fun moment. Certainly maybe not planned that was the moment that would go viral, but if it works, it works. So the girlfriend install, as you will, definitely was the big thing. But since we're here and since we have Sokka gameplay, let's talk about Sokka himself, because Sokka mechanically is really cool. So his three support characters, the three variations, one is cheaper flow cancels, and he can do things like run stop kind of moves. One of the developers once explained that he's sort of like El Fuerte, if you will, which if you're that kind of degenerate, Sokka is definitely the character for it. Another one is all about his sword, because the sword is a big part of his moveset, and the other one focuses on the boomerang more, because the boomerang is a big part of the moveset. Say for the sword variation, every time you hit the enemy with the sword attack, your sword buff, if you will, goes up by 1, and this is permanent. For the other variations, the sword, it just hits nothing else, right? But if you happen to be in a specific support character, the specific variation, every time you get that number go up, your damage permanently goes up, and this goes between rounds. So this lasts the entire match. So every time you hit, you just do more and more and more damage, to the point where when the sword stacks start getting high, you start hitting very hard. Like the screen starts shaking, basic hits can almost kill you outright. And again, all these sword hits last between rounds. And beside the fact, swords could be launchers and all that fun stuff, he has things like unblockable attacks with the sword. When you see him turn red, that's unblockable. And he can kind of just do that whenever. So you really got to watch out for it. I'm assuming, I don't know, because I didn't get to play this build, but I'm assuming the counterplay is just do the flow state, which is sort of like the universal parry, because that's not blocking, but the fact that he has a scaling upwards unblockable move that'll do more and more damage as the match progresses sounds a little scary. Add to the fact this move looks a lot like Hager's pipe in Marvel 3 and looks like a cross-up. So watch out for Sword Sokka. That might be a threat. So another thing with Sokka is the Boomerang. And the Boomerang looks like a very strong projectile, although a unique one. Because as you note here, it's part of his UI, right? And you can toss it out, get it back, or perhaps toss it out and not get it back, right? So it's very powerful, but you can't necessarily do it at will. It's a resource to be used and spent and then recovered. And it can cover, seemingly just going off the footage, some really weird angles. So it looks to be really strong screen control. And that's the thing. So the Boomerang's universal. So one of the other support variations is you can tie a rope to the Boomerang and then have it seemingly active for a lot longer, pull it back to yourself, making it an active projectile on the way out and then the way back in. Like making basically something that is definitely going to be annoying as it stands, even more annoying. Like look here, so tosses EX Boomerang well over the other Sokka's head, and the rope's just there, and eventually gets pulled back in after the fact, right? So can be annoying. Now you can break the rope, so it's not guaranteed. You can like set up traps behind the enemy and yank them back in whenever, but just the potential seems really strong, and other potential too right there. We talk about annoying, right? So Sokka's definitely annoying, and he seems to have the ability to have like a reptile style invisibility. So unblockable sword attacks, weird boomerang angles, and then partial invisibility, dealing with all this nonsense like mix. If you like being a bit of a jerk, Sokka probably seems like the right character for you. And the third variation, as mentioned earlier, is definitely just kind of easier, I guess, just cheaper flow cancels. I'm sure that'll probably make his mix and pressure extra annoying, probably give him better combos. Although it's not as flashy as like forever upward scaling sword damage or tricky boomerang ropes. But it definitely gives him like 3 perfectly valid and different play styles. That's always been the thing with this game, and definitely have inspiration for like Mortal Kombat X. The variations just turning characters into multiple versions of themselves, thus effectively giving more overall gameplay and more overall tricks to work with. Just definitely a big feather in the game's cap, right? More variations, like literally variations, right, equals just more gameplay opportunities. Now, I'm sure it'll probably fall in some degree to the same trap that Mortal Kombat X did, in that competitively, there'll definitely be 1 or 2 variations that are more valid than the others, right? One variation will always sort of lose out in a competitive tournament sort of way. That's just life, I guess. But I do like the experimentation and being able to take risks with gameplay, and letting characters like Sokka, who can go from either like high damage dealer or crazy zoning, keep out, mix away boomerang guy, right? Those are very different styles to play the game. So I'm just glad they're going for something real different. Like Azula, we know she's a stance character as well. And the stances are basically crazy Azula and normal Azula, right? And the moves change based on that. Just a lot of inventive stuff going on. So definitely interested in all y'all seeing a lot more what Avatar has to offer, especially because it's coming out not too long from now. July 2nd really isn't that far away. And if you like what you're seeing, wait till you see the really cool characters. Get to see what a real Avatar can do. But yeah, if you want to see the full exhibition, I believe the footage should be up on Justin Wong's YouTube channel now. So have a look at that, and thanks for Justin and iPhone for putting on a great set of matches for us to go through. And when there is more Avatar to talk about, we'll be talking about it. But that's it for the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. And when the time comes, go out and play some Avatar.
This is the love making.